All right, in this session, we want to talk about the features of the POI Box Indicator together. As mentioned in the previous session, the POI Box is a tool that's supposed to help us make chart analysis easier. For example, on our chart, let's say on the gold chart, I'll show you. In the chart, for example, we label this section from here to here as a leg. An upward move, or for example, this downward move, we also label this as a leg. There are a series of trading nodes, a series of BoS, break of structure points that have formed, which I can see here, and this is its first node. This is indeed the second significant BoS, and this is the third distinct BoS, and this particular leg of the movement is clearly made up of these three crucial BoS points. For me to be able to accurately identify and observe them, that is certainly sufficient. Or for example, in a downward trending leg, I clearly see this specific formation as a definitive bearish BoS. To make it significantly easier for me to clearly see, it's entirely sufficient to simply look between a specific point A and a distinct point B. When you carefully place the POI Box indicator onto your chart, you should then precisely mark your initial X1 point as the definitive starting point for your analysis. That means when I carefully place it, I can then begin. We have a starting point, which I set here. Here we have an ending point, which I set here. Now, along this path, we want to explain all the indicator's inputs to you. These two blue lines, meaning from X1 to X2, which you can enter yourself here, define your analysis range. That means you provide it with X1 and X2. It's supposed to analyze within the system for you and show you a series of inputs and outputs. The first option is display settings, which is in the display mode. We have three different modes: main BoS mode, leak, and also lid. First, I'll explain the leak mode for you. In leak mode, we also have an option called DP, which I'll turn off now so it won't be visible in leak mode. When you carefully set it to leak mode, the clearly highlighted area distinctly tells you that from this precise point to this other point, you indeed have a significant bullish move. This particular point is identified as our primary market POI, and the highlighted area itself can often be a very good spot for both buying and selling. So by utilizing this specific area, in leak mode you will only see the POI of a single distinct leg. Now, if I set its display mode to main BoS, it tells you that in this range from here to here, between this low and high, actually you have a larger. This BoS that has formed is the one that has trading value, and you're looking for the area within this. In this area, the place that has trading value for us is the green zone. So is this precisely the specific area where I'm actively looking for a potential buy position? It's indeed one of the primary and most significant zones where we consistently and carefully look for a favorable buy position. These are the crucial ones, and another important mode that's clearly mentioned here for your comprehensive understanding is the all IDM mode. IDM, as you might be wondering, actually stands for inducement. When I meticulously set it to all IDMs, it then automatically and quite helpfully shows me all the relevant and available zones. But when I specifically so that I can, for example, in any mode, like in main BoS mode. In BoS mode, I can name the two POIs, the upper and lower ones. We've called this the main POI, and we use it to help us follow the trend direction. So if you have a main POI, you're supposed to take a buy from it. That would be a move in the direction of the trend. Now, the opposite point, which is marked in red, we call the QM POI, or Quasimodo POI. This one becomes relevant when the market hits your stop at this zone. In that case, you should take a sell from this area. So these two zones are opposite to each other, and you use one of them at a time. And one of them is for selling. Now, how do I show which one to display? It's enough to go into the settings. In the POI mode section, if you set it to main, it only shows you the green ones. If you set it to QM, it shows you the opposite point. And if you set it to both, it will show both, and if you turn it off, it only displays your box range. Now, this POI mode also applies to the topic of IDMs. That means right now, in the entire and comprehensive range I currently have, I have precisely one significant BoS here on the chart. I also have another distinct BoS here, one more BoS over here, and yet another BoS right here. So in total, there are 4 clear and identifiable BoS points. When it's operating in IDMs mode, it shows all the BoS. Now, in each one of them, because of this, you can specify to only show the main PI section. So when you look, you'll see that. It shows the first main PI, then the second one. This situation, where the PI returns from one level to another, is considered liquidity for us. That means we can later consider this area as liquidity, as high or equal liquidity. Between these two levels, where the price couldn't reach this level. This area is a base area, and it can itself be a liquidity swing. So, if you're looking for a trade, instead of buying here, it's better to buy here, as this could be a better level. And in the same way, when we analyze the market, in the settings, if we set it to QM, instead of showing the main levels, it shows the opposite levels. These different opposite levels will be useful later, which we'll learn about in the future. For example, when the price breaks below this level, since you're taking a sell from here, if it breaks below this level, you take a sell from this level, and if it breaks below this level, do you have a sell from this zone? This is for predicting the price in the future. So overall, we have a leg mode that analyzes a single leg for you. We call this the leg mode. We also have a BoS mode that identifies the largest BoS for you. We specifically call it the Main BoS Mode, and if you truly want to see all of them, you would then set it to the All IDMs Mode. The first, the second, the third, however many there actually are in total, we collectively refer to this particular mode as All IDMs. You'll see later on that these, in a way, they are endorsements. We've mapped out all the endorsements, so we have 10 main modes. Now, let's go back to the settings in the mode. Most of the trades we make are either on main BoS or on Lake. Now, I mostly use all IDMs for training purposes. In Lake mode, you no longer have anything called QM, right? In Lake mode, the only thing actually available to you is the main mode, which is what it's showing you. Now, as you can see, this area up to this area has been divided into equal sections. If you want to change these sections, you can adjust the percentage of PIO. For example, if I set it to 33% and want to trade within that, it will automatically divide and allocate for you. This IO can be a much tighter area, and usually this IO reacts better. It can be used as a more suitable area for trading. So, the 33% area is also good, but by default, we set it to 50%. That's it for the settings in this section. Another option available is that you can use the main BoS mode. In the main BoS mode, which I will now thoroughly show you the main interface, or rather what I truly intend to present, let me meticulously turn all of these visual elements off for a moment so that you can clearly and distinctly see just the designated zone. Typically, when you are looking to effectively display an RBR, we also commonly refer to this specific pattern as a rally-based rally formation. It's also called ROYAR. There are different terms. It's called RBR, BOS, IDM, all these names that exist. It's also called kink or trading knot. All these names are correct. Now, we say that we divide this into 3 legs. We call this leg A. We call this leg B. This is the corrective leg, and we call it leg B. And at the base, this is leg C. Leg A, the first segment, leg B, the second segment, and leg C, the final segment. From this particular range to this specific range, I have carefully marked this out for you. From this particular range to this specific range, as you can clearly see, if you see another ID in this area, that is, if you see an ID in leg A or on top, here we say the market has done a trick. That means the price has gone to a place where it should have given us a buy signal. Instead of giving a buy signal in this area, it first went below this area and then came back up. One of the best areas for trading, which has a very tight stop, is the trick area. The trick area is a very attractive zone. For safe and sound trading, we have added an option called trick in this tool. You set it to trick. On main, it will now find the main trick area and show it to you. So a good area for trading can be our trick zone. You might not see it in all BoS, break of structure zones at that time frame. For example, let's say I crop this part here. I want to show you here that a break of structure, or BOS, might not be very clear or easily discernible in a certain specific time frame. Look closely. I have set this particular chart to the mode Main BOS. And I also set the trick to main. That is the main trick, not the auxiliary trick, because we can have it show main or QM or whatever. Now, I set it so that the POI related to BoS isn't shown, but the POIs related to the trick are shown for you. Exactly as you see, this was the area where the trick happened, but in this time frame, it's not clear. But if it has drawn it, but you happen to not see it here, you can change the time frame. In a lower time frame, it will draw that area for you more accurately. Right now, the main trick we had in the market was here. Now, if you set this, for example, to a smaller time frame, it will draw it for you with more precision for the final drawing, as long as it hasn't been used yet. If they are fresh and unused, you can expect a reaction from them. Right now, the BOS I'm talking about, just display it. So this trick only shows it. Now I'm saying, let the trick display them. It shows you the final main one. The trick can display their QMs for you, and its final version becomes valuable. This is the final one. And if you want to start with the main tools and all the tools for this work, display them within this range. All of these are trick zones. This market can, after passing through this zone, as you can see, after passing through this zone, we should react at these times, we should react here. Of course, this is just to put it into practice. In relation to any BOS, in relation to any BOC that you want to trade. Now, whether it's a BOS itself or a target, for example, if I have this and I'm buying here, I should try to have my first TP here, meaning me. For buys, it's always mentioned in the BoS setup as well. If you're taking a buy trade here, your first TP should be here. It's the same for the target as well. Meaning, if I have a specific objective or a particular target point right here in this precise location, for example, if I possess a clearly defined target situated here, and this distinct point represents the ultimate target or goal that I am aiming for. BoS zones and POI zones are specifically related to the target. So we call this the target, this is my ID, and the base of it is what we call the target. In that case, if you're taking a buy trade, it's better for your trading zone to be this area rather than that area. So that's about the target as one of the points. In relation to displaying the labels, for example, suppose I'm displaying this zone to that zone. Let me also explain this zone to that zone. For example, suppose I have a downward leg. This downward leg, there's a gap in the downward leg. In the leg mode, you have an option called DP. The concept of DP is that when you don't display it, it doesn't show the green zone. But the whole idea we get from DP is that you want to sell from this zone. If you get a sell, your first pullback is the DP. What does that mean? It means I have to turn on the DP and turn this one off. It means you're entering a trade. One of the good points in the market for taking a buy can be with the help of DP. So DP, its application is in the leg. And whenever you get stopped out, it's used for recovery, for compensation. Or do you use DP to compensate for the previous trade? About BoS. If you clearly remember, you should have definitely taken a buy trade right here at this precise moment. Now, if you unfortunately got stopped out, this particular area then becomes an extremely important area, aokitas, your personal recovery zone, meaning now is the time. Is a QM. And what you do is you're supposed to take a buy. If for any reason this buy gets stopped out, one of the suitable zones for stop recovery is here as well. So in QM, the DP leg setup is primarily for recovery purposes, and in the overall context of the situation, BoS setup, if you had a primary main BoS, the quality manager or QM in your primary main BoS is your trade recovery setup. It is for you. All right, let's move on to the other options that are left. You can also set the date here. This is for displaying the level here. For example, suppose I want to enter these numbers. You can specify here whether these numbers should be displayed or not. Or you can choose not to display them and just show the QMR. This is now a long-term BIOS. You should get it. I've had this BIOS for a long time. Now, for example, I come here and specify that it should show both types of POI modes. Q. And also the advanced POI modes. If I don't put it in main BIOS mode, I specify it. Right now it's in main BIOS mode. The prices that are displayed here, I showed this period. Labels. Here, if you want to display them, it's enough to specify in the label section which labels to show. Just set it to show only the numbers so you can see the values. You see, usually the process is fine, and this is so that you can actually do it in your market. The color of each box that is created, or each leg that is created, has a time criterion for us. For example, when the time frame is written as W, it means the time frame means it's weekly, meaning this is a set of nodes of the weekly type. This is one node, this is another. In fact, it has formed on the weekly time frame, and usually we expect more movement from the levels that belong to higher time frames. And the last point is about how to display the QM lines. What color should be used to show the tricks and what color should be used to show them. This section of colors is for coloring the analysis range we have. This part is for labeling the levels. We see the trick in the main view, and these are the types of display modes we have. These are the general features that the indicator has. If you want to customize the indicator, get in touch with us and be sure to check out the shortcut guide.